Hello everyone, today I start fourth unit. The topic is optimal foraging theory. See, all organisms or form of life require energy and nutrients to survive for maintenance, growth, activity and reproduction. They require regular acquisition of food. Some animals get nutrients from eating plants to fulfill their requirements of food. Bigger animals eat other smaller animals for food, and in some cases, organisms like fungi get their food by breaking down nutrients in organic matter. To meet their high energy needs, animals, particularly mammals, have evolved a diverse array of trophic or nutritional specializations. The adaptive radiation in food gathering morphologies is diverse and reflects the diversity of species on the basis of available food. Foraging styles vary depending on the species digestive system. As you can see here, we have insectivorous species, carnivore species, non-ruminant herbivore and ruminant herbivore, and digestive systems of all these four species are quite different morphologically. Digestive system of carnivore and herbivore species are quite different, where carnivore typically have single stomach chamber and a shorter or simple digestive system. Herbivore can often have several stomach chamber and a longer digestive system. The species which have rumen called ruminant species such as camel, deer, sheep, giraffe and cattle. Foraging is searching for food resources. It affects an animal fitness because it plays an important role in an animal's ability to survive and reproduce. So foraging theory is a branch of behavioral ecology that studies the foraging behavior of animals in response to the environment where the animal lives. Foraging strategies. There are many ways where animals obtain their food. Here we see some general rules describe the processes that occur when an animal like a mammal forages for food. These rules apply to all foraging behavior regardless of the type of diet. Like nectivorous bats search for flowers, coyote look for small mammals or fruit, large carnivores stalk for potential prey, and birds fly to rich food resource sites. To getting access of these food resources, animals use different strategies like hoarding of food on availability or when food resources are abundant, protection of food from sympatric competitors either by concealing or hiding or howling up on trees. When some mammals discover a food source, they hoard the food they find, and predictions derived from many of the general rules concerning foraging behavior are mostly tested on variety of birds, on some other vertebrates, and on insects like bees. The bees have a lot of experiments for foraging behavior. To date, although mammalogists maintain a consistent interest in foraging theory, fewer aspects of this theory are thoroughly tested, but much of the part has left. Part of the problem may be that when the various foraging models are applied to some mammals, like ungulates in particular, the models have proved to be relatively poor predictors. Group living mammals may have various systems for detecting predators and alerting other members of the group. They feed in groups and individual members take turns being the sentinel watch for predators around. The sentinel, of course, is sacrifice valuable feeding time and rotate this duty to ensure that each individual has sufficient time for energy intake. As you can see here in the picture, it is a big group of cheetal, and in case of ungulates, the old adult individuals and experienced individuals that stay at the periphery of the group, and unexperienced individuals, fawn and subadults, they stay at the center. They get enough time to forage and feed. Another way to reduce predation risk is food hoarding. By having food stores in a protected location, the mammals doesn't have to venture forth, or the animals, they don't need to come out in expose of predators. By hoarding the food on opportunity when it is abundant. Even this strategy of food hoarding is being adopted by carnivores, as I have told you many examples of sympatric carnivores, because in India the large carnivores are the keystone species, or say they are the apex carnivores or apex species. Now leopards have started using this strategy of food hoarding when it coexists with apex carnivore like tiger and lion. What they do when they go for hunting down a prey, they prefer female, adult female. If it is with a newly born or about the year old fawn, they prefer to kill both individuals. They store or hoard fawn for the later dish and at the moment eat upon the mother prey. Next is nutrient constraints. The contrast between foregut and hindgut fermenters particularly exemplify this point of nutrients constraints. Ungulates, or say ruminants or moose or cheetal, any ungulate species which has human sake must consume both sufficient energy and sufficient sodium to meet their daily needs, but the capacity of the rumen also must be considered. Next is patch use, a central challenge for classical foraging theory, which pertains to patch use decision of large herbivores like roe deer, a free-ranging bison or domestic goat or any other herbivore species. All use this patch use classical challenge. Foraging models are created to generate testable predictions about such behavior, which is the foraging behavior, which can be evaluated by empirical studies. One general theoretical framework for analyzing the foraging behavior of animals is this notion of cost and benefits, which is based on the ultimate results of animals' fitness. It says that organisms must search most productive way to allocate hunting time for prey species with different abundance in different patches, because profitability of the prey measures by the prey biomass, not by the prey density that predator harvests in given time. And guys, there is very detailed paper by Currant and Sunquist. It provides a good and scientific information about optimal foraging behavior and profitability for prey biomass and prey density. So you guys can go for this paper. It will definitely provide you a lot of knowledge about the prey-predator relationship. The decisions an animal makes while it forages is about should an animal eat a particular type of food or prey, should an animal remain in one place or capture its prey, or actively seek out prey elsewhere, means it should go for a sit and wait behavior or actively participate in stalking prey items elsewhere. The currency involved, what is being maximized? Currency is actually the diet per unit time. How the constraints affect animal foraging pattern and how large a prey item can it handle or a predator can handle. Does the prey have a hard or soft covering and how much part of the prey is eatable? Animals search, sense, detect, then hunt and eat. Why? All the feeding arises from the difference between life and death. For say, if at any point animals don't get food, they may create episodes of starvation and continuous starvation. A prolonged starvation will result in death of those individuals. If animals survive and die as a function of variation in their foraging strategies, then the animals which survive contribute their gene to the next generation, while the genes of animals which die in animal cause of unsuccessful foraging eliminates from the environment. The two types of currencies are generally considered here when examining foraging behavior. One is energy as calories and another is the time, means calorie intake per unit time. Should the animal minimize its time hunting to gain a fixed quantity of food, or should it maximize its energy intake in a fixed amount of time? For say, a lion spots a potential prey. So, what decision rules does it use to determine its actions? Like how close is the prey and how much energy is needed to pursue and capture it? How big of a prey or meal does it represent? What are the dangers in pursuing this particular prey species? Given the time that it takes to pursue and subdue this prey, would the lion be better off if instead it went in search of some other prey? The lion doesn't actually compute a cost benefit analysis before acting, but we can use the economic model as a means of generating testable predictions about its behavior. Several key constraints influence a mammal's or animal's foraging strategy. The first are constraints related to the time spent traveling to find food or search time. For smaller mammals, the danger of starvation may be greater than the large mammals, and thus the constraints imposed by time and the need to regularly find food sources affects foraging decisions. These constraints may be temporal, energetic, and cognitive. In temporal constraints, it counts in terms of the time it takes to find and process food. Energetic constraints concern in terms of the metabolic cost of each foraging activity, which is foraging and processing, etc., per unit time. Cognitive constraints limit the foraging efficiency of animals. Second, foods vary in how easily their energy packets can be extracted by the handling time. of an animal or a mammalian species. Some foods like grasses require almost no manipulation, so they are snipped or chewed off and swallowed. On the other hand, some fruits and seeds may require the animals to spend considerable time and energy to extract the nutrition. In case of carnivorous species, they also take some time to spend around the killed prey item, and after rest of about 2 to 3 hours then start eating. So immediately after hunting down the prey species, they don't start eating. The third one is animals that are themselves potential prey must always balance the need for finding and consuming food with some degree of vigilance. Individual mammals may do this by keeping a wary eye or ear attuned to the surrounding as they feed, and these both things are being followed up by the generalist species. And what is this species? You must know. Here I'll stop this lecture. It will be continued at the next turn. Bye bye.